Hey guys, welcome to Watchdog Central. Okay, Grand Theft Auto 5 has been pulled from two stores in Australia, Target and Kmart. Now, they've been pulled because they're deemed to be too sexually violent towards women. I was actually reading this petition that was actually put up online, which has now got 46,033 supporters. I'll leave the link down below to this. It's basically a petition that's been put up to try and actually try and withdraw it from the actual stores. Target: withdraw Grand Theft Auto 5. This sickening game encourages players to commit sexual violence and kill women. It's a game that encourages players to murder women for entertainment. The incentive is to commit sexual violence against women, then abuse or kill them to proceed or get health points, and now Target are stocking it and promoting it for your Christmas stocking. Okay, so as you just heard, the incentive is to commit sexual violence against women. No, it's not. Look at the name of the game. First off, it's called Grand Theft Auto. It's about stealing fucking cars. That's the incentive. That's the main purpose in the game, is to steal cars, go on a mission. The whole incentive of the game, they're trying to make out the whole reason for this game is just to go out and fuck women up and kill them and batter them to death. It's not the way it is. This is Grand Theft Auto 5. This game means that after various sex acts, players are given options to kill women by punching her unconscious, killing with a machete, battle guns to get their money returned. Please Target, we appeal to you as women survivors of violence, including women who experience violence in the sex industry, to immediately withdraw Grand Theft Auto 5 from sale. So what we have here is we have people who want to get the game banned completely due to it having something, a very, very slight part of the game where violence happens towards women. Regardless of whether they've been sexually assaulted in real life. I mean, don't get me wrong, of course we all feel bad for women who've been raped, sexually assaulted. You know, you want to throw the whole victim card in, even though most of these women don't want to play the victim card, yet they always tend to throw the victim card in here, saying that they've been raped or whatever. If you've been raped, sexually assaulted, of course we all feel bad. And if there was a petition you wanted people to sign to stop women from getting raped, or stop women from, you know, if there was people out there who we knew were causing them harm, to get it stopped, I'll sign the petition. Just send me a link. I'll sign it right fucking now. But do you honestly believe that stopping a fucking computer game from actually being produced and made is actually going to help or benefit anybody? Because it's not. Okay, so I look at it this way. I look at it like, this is a computer game. It's not real. It's not real life. You know, if something happens in real life, you know, of course there should be outrage over women. Women getting raped in real life is fucking, it's distressing as fuck for them. I'm sure it's fucked up. You know, it scars them mentally. We all know that it's fucked up for them. Same with women who've been sexually assaulted, you know. But this isn't real life. This is a computer game. You know, it's an animated computer game. It's not real. It's the same as the movies. It's the same as theatre. It's the same as stand-up comedy. All these things aren't meant to be took literally, aren't meant to be took seriously, but for some reason they fucking are. Think about it. If you can do this and you can have the power to stop a game from being produced and put onto shop shelves because it has one violent scene in it towards women, then you're going to be, you could move on to movies. You know, you could move on and say, well, this movie has a violent sexual scene towards a woman, I want it pulled. We can go back all the way back to UK, back during the 80s when Mary Whitehouse was about, and she wanted all the films banned. There was lots of films. I Spit on Your Grave. There's tons and tons of horror movies and violence. There was rape scenes in films, and they had the films banned because there was one rape scene in them. But then years later, they end up getting released anyway. But you've got to wonder, where does it stop? Okay, one of the many fan clips on YouTube shows the woman being run down, run over, set alight, and still screaming, repeatedly shot. This misogynistic GTA 5 literally makes a game of bashing, killing, and horrific violence against women. It also links sexual arousal and violence. You know, I hear all these things. I hear all these things about women getting this, women getting that. But what about the men? What about the men? I mean, I've seen many clips on the internet of Grand Theft Auto 5 where men are getting tortured. You know, there's men getting run over, there's men getting shot in the face, there's men getting tortured. They're held in a chair. And there was one scene I watched even just this morning where a guy had his teeth ripped out of his head with a pair of fucking pliers. Now, I didn't hear anyone kick up a fucking shitstorm about that happening to the men. I'm just trying to be fucking honest with you here. How come it's perfectly acceptable for a man to have his teeth yanked out of his fucking mouth with a pair of pliers? He can have his kicked over in a chair, stamp on his head, you can pour petrol over him to set him alight. There's no issues with this kind of shit. But because there's only an issue with the woman. I don't understand that shit. It all seems to be just fucking one way in my opinion. Okay, so I just want to make it quite clear here that, let's say for example, the women who are concerned who actually wanted this stuff pulled, just the women who are concerned, not all women, just the women who are concerned that wanted it pulled, let's say you have the right to cut Grand Theft Auto 5 the way you want it. You have the right to pull certain parts out of that game. You have the rights to pull the whole, any sexual parts you don't like, or all the violence out of the game. You can pull it all out and you can just leave only the male parts in, which clearly is the way you want to go about doing this. So you do this. What message are you sending to anybody? To males, females, even I guess children that manage to get hold of it somehow. What kind of a message are you sending out to anybody who is playing this game? You're sending the message that it's perfectly acceptable for a male to get the shit kicked out of him, to get beat up, to get murdered, to get battered, to have his teeth pulled out. But women is a no-no. You can't do any, nothing can ever be done to a woman. It's a computer game. It's not real. Remember that. It's not real. But that's the kind of message you're sending out. It's one way. The message is that it's unacceptable to beat women up, but it's perfectly acceptable to beat men up. I'm looking at it from that point of view as well. And you could do the same thing with movies as well. I mean, if certain women had the rights to pull all the scenes out of the movie, what message is it to send to all the moviegoers? It's the same fucking thing. Females, not acceptable. Males, acceptable. It's perfectly acceptable to hit males, punch males, do this. Not acceptable to do it to females. Wrong fucking message in my opinion. I just don't get this whole fucking petition, the way it's writ out, the way it's done. We have first-hand experience of this kind of sexual violence. It haunts us and we've been trying to rebuild our lives ever since. What's this got to do with a fucking computer game? Could you just please explain what that's got to do with a computer game? You could state that if you actually got raped off the back of this fucking game being made, but where is the fucking proof? Where is there any evidence proving that this game has actually led to a woman getting any sexual violence towards her? Because I haven't seen one fucking piece of proof yet. If you've got any proof, please email me it and show me it. And then I'll actually think about it a little bit fucking more. But it haunts us and we've been trying to rebuild our lives ever since. So you're throwing the pity card out that you've been abused. And you're blaming it on a fucking computer game? You could take that pity and you could blame it on a computer game. You could blame it on a fucking movie. You could blame it on anything. I just don't get it. Just knowing that women are being portrayed as deserving to be sexually used by men and potentially murdered. Sexually used by men. Oh my god. Winning prostitution. Okay. And potentially murdered for sport and pleasure. Yeah, nothing in this so far about men getting battered or anything. No, it's just all women. To see this violence that we live through turned into a form of entertainment is sickening and causes us great pain and harm. Okay. This game spreads the idea that certain women exist as scapegoats for male violence. It shows hatred and contempt for women in the sex industry. What, just the sex industry? And puts them at greater risk. Women in the industry are 40 times more likely to be murdered by a man than any other group of women. Well, you're in the sex industry. Choice? Just saying. Games like this are grooming yet another generation of boys to tolerate violence against women. The game is rated 18. You dumb fucking morons, okay? A generation of boys. Unfucking believable. Always have to throw the card out that you think the game's intended for young fucking people. Young people can get hold of it, yes. Whose fucking responsibility is that? Whose fault is that? You know, if you want to get hold of something, they're going to get hold of it. It's meant for adults. It's an adult game. It was aimed at adults. It was specifically made for fucking adults. Computer games aren't just made for children anymore. Okay? Try and get that into your fucking thick skulls. It's meant for adults as well. Hence the 18 fucking rating. You dumb fucks. It is fueling the epidemic of violence experienced by so many girls and women in Australia and globally. Target. You pride yourself on being a family company, caring for local communities and having a strong ethical sourcing policy. We're talking about Target here. Target will sell anything to you to try and make some fucking money off of you. Target sell every fucking kind of horror movie under the sun. They probably even sold copies of The Human Centipede on DVD, where about 5 people got strung together. They actually sewn their arseholes to their faces and shit feces into their mouth. But you don't have a problem with that, but you have a problem with a fucking computer game. There really isn't much of a fucking difference. Both of them are fake. They're not real. They're fake. And they're both meant over the ages of fucking 18. You fucking retards. How can you do this while contributing to hostile and callous attitudes towards victims of violence and more broadly to all women? Question mark. This bit's fucking priceless. We urge you to follow the example set by the New Zealand's largest retailer, New Zealand Warehouse Group, in upholding corporate social responsibility and ethical corporate leadership by removing these games. This would also set an example to other stockists of Grand Theft Auto 5. You just want it removed everywhere, don't you? You want the whole game just not to exist. You're so fucking sad, you know that? You're so pathetic that you actually have to ruin something for everybody just because there's a few certain people out there that don't like it. Because it offends you. It all comes down to being offended at the end of the day. It's nothing more than that. It really fucking isn't. You just want to ruin every computer game, every movie, anything for anybody. You've got to stick up your fucking ass, man. That's all it is. Okay, so they decided to finish the petition off with these words. Sort of like a Jerry Springer's final thought. Please put ethics before profits and make a strong statement that you do not condone sexual violence, sexual exploitation, or the abuse of women as entertainment. Signed, Nicole, Claire and Kat. Take this petition, please, and shove it up your squeezy arse cheeks. Okay, so they actually won their petition and they managed to get it off the shelf with their 40 however many thousand subscribers. So it just goes to prove getting a little petition together, writing out a load of corny bullshit and getting away from a couple of the facts, that you can actually have computer games removed off of shelves regardless of any information that's been given, whether it be true or not. All you have to do is give some kind of a little pity sympathy story and you can have it pulled. It clearly works, and they've already stated, if I'm reading this correct, that they're trying to get it removed from 2 other shops, including Big W in America, if that's in America, and Woolworths. So they're going to send these petitions over to 2 other shops. They did state somewhere along in one of the articles I was reading that the reason why they had the game pulled was because the majority of their customers decided that it was not a family friendly game, or it wasn't something that they should have in a family store, basically, which is total bullshit, considering all you have to do is get this fucking petition together and send it to them and they'll back off, because the petition, it's got 46,000 people. Lots of women seem to be upset by this. We better do the right thing here. We better take this game off the shelves because we don't want to offend anybody. So basically all you've really done is you've bent over, you've touched the floor, and you've let someone come up to you from behind and shove their cock right up your arse. That's all you've done. You've bent over and took it up the arse. And that seems to be what a lot of people tend to be doing recently in this PC political fucking PC brigade of arseholes. This is all it is. And it's going to get worse before it gets better, trust me. Everything's going to start getting banned. I dread to see what it's going to be like in 5 to 10 years. I really fucking do. I think everything's going to start being on the table. Everything's going to start being annihilated. It's the way it's going to go.